Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another BKFC Reddit Ask Me Anything. We're in for a special treat. It's a BKFC Iced Wars edition. How you doing there, Charlie?
I'm doing good, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Great. So it's Charlie Nama. You're the president of Ice Wars. Is it correct?
Yes, sir.
How many Ice Wars has there been? Like a lot of people are like, "Oh, Ice Wars," and I've seen Ice Wars before, but I don't know exactly how many events that you guys have had before. Like, can you give us a brief synopsis of Ice Wars?
Well, we did one years ago in British Columbia, Canada, kind of a test run, and then we didn't really do much again. And about 3 or 4 years ago, we started doing fights again. And we did smaller events, and now we're taking it up a level. Of course, partnering with BKFC was a huge step forward for us, just media-wise, and the experience of the promotion from David Feldman. The guy's a genius.
Did you guys reach out to BKFC? Did BKFC reach out to you? Like, I love this matchup. I think it's great.
Well, I started working with Dave and assisting him in locating event locations in Canada, etc. And then, we discussed the ice fights and how it sort of made good sense to join forces. And I think it's going to be an exciting time moving forward.
So for people who don't know, I don't understand how you can't know. But anyway, for those who don't know, you're wearing ice hockey attire and MMA gloves, right? But you have the helmet and the shoulder pads and the jerseys and all that, correct?
Right, correct. Full hockey gear, 4-ounce MMA gloves. And we're hoping in the 5th or 6th event to actually have a bare knuckle Ice Wars event. Once we've, sort of picked out the fighters that we feel are up to that level. And I know a lot of the fighters are excited to go bare knuckle as well.
So that's what I was curious. So if you do go, like, I wasn't sure if the reason you do no bare, like the gloves is because don't you guys have round robin tournaments, or is it only single fights?
We started with round robin tournaments, but now it's back to single fights only. And the reason for that is there's too much chance of injury with the guys going round robin. Fighting 2-3 times a night, it just can't be done. The guys were tough enough to do it, and they loved to do it, but I don't think it was the proper strategy.
Do you seek out fighters, or like people like in the hockey community know like this is right, like the four enforcers know like this is right up their alley and they reach out to you?
Yeah, well, exactly. We've been getting we've sourced some guys, but we've been getting applications daily, 3 or 4 different fighters. A lot of MMA guys that are crossing over that play hockey as well. Brian Boone Keller is one, Devin Gibson. It's pretty amazing how many guys that fight MMA, box, or mixed martial arts are also hockey players. So it's a neat combination.
Do you have a favorite hockey fighter of all time? Mine personally, I started watching hockey in 95, 96 when Colorado got a team, and it was Chris Simon for me. Like, I loved Chris Simon.
Chris Simon was a very tough guy. My favorite hockey fighter of all time was, because I'm a Philadelphia Flyers fan, was Dave the Hammer Schultz.
Okay.
But growing up, I was very good friends with quite a few tough guys. Gino Ojic,
Sure.
Glenn Cochran, both have recently passed away. They were very good friends of mine. Bob Probert and I were going to do this event before Bob passed away. He came to see me in Vancouver in about, I think it was 2010. Sadly, shortly after, he passed away. So, but Dave Schultz is the Hammer, is my all-time favorite fighter. I'm a Flyers fan through and through.
One of my favorite things about talking to the fighters is everybody thinks like, oh, this guy's tough and he's mean, but so many of them are just absolutely nice guys. I love how gentlemanly they are.
You got like Glenn Cochran. They were beautiful human beings. Gino Ojic. I mean, Probert I didn't know well, but he was very gentle off the ice too. Gino Ojic used to spend tons of times in the communities with children. Always had time to stop and sign an autograph and take out his teeth. Glenn Cochran used to have Little Caesars pizzas. He used to cook my son pizzas at his shop. Just beautiful human beings. And then on the ice, they knew when to turn it on.
So we saw the Four Nations tournament for the NHL take off. This tournament, this upcoming Ice Wars, is Canada versus the United States. I think it's a brilliant move. Like, what made you decide that? Was it the Four Nations?
It was the Four Nations. I saw that, and there was a lot of controversy over who actually won that. And
Sure.
Another thing I like about Canada USA is it gives the fighters from each country a chance to represent their countries. Like Jordy from Barstool said, these guys would never have an opportunity maybe to play in a high level hockey and represent their countries, but as fighters, they're getting their opportunity to represent their countries and show their colors. So I think it's very exciting for everybody.
Hockey's always had some of the toughest people. I mean, you see these guys get their teeth knocked out, and they go back in, and you got, you know, the soccer and the basketball players flopping all over and getting carted off. I love how tough they are. The one thing down the line at some point, I would love to see, you know, like a hockey player and some lacrosse players and rugby, you know, like a toughest man in sports tournament. And I feel like you're the guy to put that on at some point.
Yeah, I don't know if there's anybody tougher than hockey players, to tell the truth. I think that's sort of well known around the world, right? Hockey players just have a different mentality. You know, I think a lot of guys grow up in small towns playing on outdoor rinks, and they just learn to be tough, you know, from the age of 5 on.
What is your vision? Like, if people want to watch this, how can they watch it? Like, will it be on the BKFC app at all, or is it like an independent thing?
No, it'll be on the BKFC app. We're just sorting that out for next week, actually, and then we're going to announce. But it'll be streaming on, you know, up to 10 or 12 different platforms.
I know, like, when BKFC went to the zone for some of their fights, a lot of people were very upset. And I was waiting for Dave to kind of, like, Dave was like, hey, bear with me. And I feel like adding this, you know, like he's adding value back to the app by having you guys on there. And I hope that they continue to add some programming to the app, because I feel like it's a great, you know, and it's an easy app to use. And I feel like now that we can watch Ice Wars, it's just going to be even better.
Yeah, we're going to sort that out this week, but I'm hoping that that's the route we go. Of course, I'm very loyal to BKFC and Dave Feldman. The guy's, as far as I'm concerned, a genius in the sports world. He's been super fair to me, very loyal guy, and I want to see BKFC grow as well. And I think we can piggyback on that. It's sort of a crossover, two different audiences. We're going to bring a lot of hockey fans to BKFC and vice versa.
The only thing I'm disappointed about, there's a BKFC the night, you know, and it's a big one. It's a bunch of heavyweights out there at the Mohegan, but I love hockey and I love the fighting, so I plan on going to this and having to watch that later. But like I said, if I was to say, like, oh, it's unfortunate, like, you guys are competing on the same night.
Actually, we're not going to compete on the same night for the streaming.
Okay.
It was unfortunate that was the dates that just sort of coincided that we were able to have the fights on. Okay. But we do not want to be competing with each other. We're partners. We want to make sure. So we will announce our streaming date shortly.
If people wanted to watch some of your old events, like, again, like I've seen them before, but, you know, on the Reddit, I get lots of like, hey, where do I see this? And like, I'm sending them, you know, little clips. But if people wanted to see some of your old events, are they on YouTube, or where can people watch them?
They're on YouTube. Yes, they are. And I think you're going to see a different event this time. The production quality is going to be better. The higher level fighters, like, it was sort of beta testing the first few fights we did, as any sport as it grows. So we're going in. You know, we learned the rule sets, what not to do. You know, even as far as equipment goes, helmets flying off, et cetera, et cetera. We ran the kinks out of it. The fight that you're going to see this time, I believe, is going to be dialed in perfectly.
So I've talked to, like, Phil Lambert and some of the other guys who went to the one that was out there in Wyoming, and they said it was a cool event, but it definitely was a little bit rough. So it sounds like you were able to iron all those edges out, and it should be a much smoother product this time.
Yeah, as with any sport, there's a learning curve, and we learned a lot. And you know, and we sat back and we reviewed everything, and now I believe it's going to be one of the most exciting shows you'll ever see. In fact, I know it will be. Can
you tell us about the rules for Ice Wars?
Well, the rules that's pretty straightforward. We're allowed up to 3 1-minute rounds. It essentially follows the boxing rules. You know, there's no headbutting, no eye gouging. When the players go to the ice, of course, it's broken up. A lot of controversy has been people worrying about the skates and stuff like that. I've seen that on the internet, but I've been watching hockey fights for 50 years. And I've never seen anybody cut by a skate. People don't understand that this is not something that these guys just do once, and it's not as dangerous as people are making it out to be. You know, the hockey fighting's been going on since the 1900s, and I don't recall anybody ever being cut by a skate.
It's kind of interesting, though. Like, you know, it's weird because, like, when I started watching hockey, and when you started watching hockey, fighting was much more of a big thing now. And now, I mean, it's definitely dialed down a little bit, but it seems like these guys in the lower tier leagues, they still love a good scrap. So I feel like you get to find the best of the best with your
Well,
talent pool.
even when you say it's dialed down a little bit, when a hockey fight starts, I use the Four Nations for example. What happened to the crowd?
Oh yeah,
18,000 people were on their feet.
yeah.
So it has dialed down, but the crowds that want to see this type of stuff are still there, obviously.
And getting back into that, but it's kind of weird though. You see all these people like, oh, get rid of fighting. I feel like fighting absolutely has a place in hockey to protect the players, but like I said, I feel like it wasn't as prevalent as it was before. But I love the fact that like it seems like the OHL and all those other places, they still treat hockey like the old school, where like you do protect your players. Like, and I was watching some of the Avalanche play, and they had a couple of their guys get run at, and nobody stood up for them. So like I said, I like the OHL and some of these EHL guys that still kind of adhere to that old school mentality.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like you look at the East Coast League and stuff like that. I mean, it still is played. It's old school hockey. I don't even hardly watch hockey anymore myself at the NHL level. It's just the game has changed. It's not as exciting to me. It's not as aggressive. Playoff hockey seems to step it up a lot, and that reminds me of the old time hockey that was played every day. So the world has changed.
Can you tell us like who's going to be doing your play-by-play and commentary?
We've got Ian Heinisch, former UFC guy. He's been with us for a few fights, and Todd Romero. And we're just working on the third guy. So there's going to be, and John Morasti's always kicking around too. He does some of the sideline stuff. We've got a great ring announcer. We've got a good team together, but we're going to add one more broadcaster for this event.
I'm actually talking to Ian this weekend. I can't wait. Chris Camozzi set that up. I told him like, hey, I gotta, Ian, I know is part of this, and he's like, oh, I got you, because they train together. So he said he's gonna give me some dirt that I can ask Ian about. So I'm excited about that.
Well, those are two of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. Both of them, and both very tough guys.
I was surprised. I told Chris, I said, oh, I'm talking to the BKFC Ice Wars president. He goes, oh, you're talking to Charlie, and I didn't realize that he knew you. And he's like, oh yeah, we're friends. I've met him plenty of times. So.
Yeah, and Chris, actually, I believe, I was talking to Ian the other day, I think Chris and his wife are going to be out here, or his girlfriend Whitney are going to be out at the fights.
All right.
I was told that. I think they're on their way. I'm not 100% for sure, but we've got quite a celebrity list coming out to the fights. It's going to be very surprising for people to see who shows up here. It's incredible, actually.
I might have to grab, like I said, I plan on coming, but I might have to so when Chris's last fight in Colorado that I went to, like we took the gator, because I work at the gator farm, I work with alligators for real life. So like, I have like a 4-foot alligator up here. So I might have to bring it so Chris can get another picture with it. So.
Yeah. But I tell you, like I said, two of the toughest guys I know, but two of the kindest guys I've met too, very, very decent human beings. And it's pretty nice to be involved with them. I feel very lucky.
Okay, you also said it was three 1-minute rounds. Is it kind of
scored
just like
it's up to 3 1-minute rounds on our rule set. So okay. we may go there or not. We're going to discuss it with the fighters. We still got a month away, and we're going over a few of the rules with the fighters to see what they like best. We might just go with the main event at 3 1-minute rounds, and we haven't even chosen the main event yet. But I've got a good idea in mind here. It's going to be pretty exciting.
Is it knockdown though? I mean, you said it was kind of like boxing rules. So a knockdown, like if you get knocked down twice, the other guy gets 2 extra points. Is it like that, or is it you guys specific have your own rules?
Well, the rule set, we've got hockey players that are being the judges, but yes, knockdowns will be accounted for, and slips, of course, would be the same as boxing. So it follow the rule set of boxing very close. But it will be up to the judges. There's 3 judges, and that's the way it'll go.
And it's not on actual ice, correct? Is it synthetic ice or? It's
synthetic ice and real ice if we have the opportunity to use it. But some of the venues that we have, it's easier to use the synthetic. And the quality of the synthetic, people were poking fun at, but it's getting better and better. It's almost par with real ice.
How many events a year would you guys like to do?
We're hoping to do 6 this year. And 18 to 24 next year.
Oh, wow.
We've recently been sanctioned in a few more states. We're looking at more provinces in Canada. So as the sanctioning becomes better for us, we'll do more events.
Are people trying to lump you under like boxing sanctioning or MMA sanctioning, or like is it your own specific one?
It's our own specific one. Yes. We have to have a rule set that sort of follows boxing, but it's complicated. Sanctioning is not the easiest thing in the world. I actually can't even pretend that I understand it. I have guys that work on that for me.
It is weird though, like you talk about sanctioning. BKFC for a long time struggled with the sanctioning, but once they got the overall rule set and everything was approved, it opened up so many doors in so many states. Once they had the official one that they could go with.
Yeah, and I see that happening for us too. It's the same thing. Once people see it and realize that we follow all the safety rules and that nobody's getting injured, and it's an exciting event for the fans and a revenue driver for the states, right? I mean, people come to see this stuff. Even right now, where we're doing it at Mount Pleasant, Michigan, we're at the Soaring Eagle Casino. I know the hotels are starting to get full. People are excited. It's good for the cities as well.
So a hockey player or an MMA fighter, if they wanted to do this, they clearly have to skate, but just
not just skate. You have to be a high level hockey player.
Okay.
Just be hockey fighting is different. People don't realize that. Like John Morasti always says, give me any MMA guy or any boxer on skates, and even Mike Tyson, and I'll take him out. And it's true. It's an art form, and people don't realize that.
Okay, so that's what I wasn't sure if how easy it would be for a tough guy type of thing. So again, these are highly trained athletes, and your average Joe who knows how to skate and knows how to throw an overhand right is not going to do well at this.
No, he wouldn't last the first 5 seconds or 3 seconds. Put it back to 3. No, seriously, it is an art. I mean, it's center of gravity, using your balance, using the skates, and punching at the same time. It's like ballet. But with this,
that's one of the things I love. As I know, Scott Parker and all those guys used to actually go train in boxing to learn how to fight. Better. I think it's great. It's almost like they're better athletes. They're 2-sport athletes when they're a hockey player than a fighter.
Absolutely. The conditioning is a big part of it. What I think an MMA guy can bring to the hockey fighting that plays hockey well is his conditioning. They're extreme athletes. And hockey players are in great condition as well, but some of these martial arts guys, they're very impressive. The training programs that they go through, etc. But I noticed a lot of our fighters this time have training camps for 6 and 8 weeks. They're taking this very serious. I saw pictures of them, and I didn't even recognize some of the guys. They're so ripped. So it's going to be an exciting night, and everybody's in shape and ready to go.
Can you talk to us about AJ real quick? I know he's a polarizing figure. I love him, but I mean he was on the reality. I guess it wasn't a reality show, but he did the TV show. So people love him or people hate him. But I feel like he's great for the sport. And like I said, he's got that podcast and everything about like he's all about the fighting. I love it.
Yeah, he is, and AJ is just a great human being. And his father, Jimmy Galante, again, great friends of mine. And like you say, some guys love him, some hate him, but that's how the world works. I think they're great people. I consider them family. And AJ actually does more behind the scenes than people realize here, matchmaking and stuff like that. Him and John Morasti are invaluable to this sport, and they know what they're looking for. So I have nothing bad to say about either one of those guys except thank them for what all the stuff they do.
Okay, so we just watched Dan Gardner, the sales officer for Bucked Up Fight. Are you planning on getting in the Ice Wars rink and fighting another CEO or another executive from another company?
I would if it came about. I'm not shy to get on there. I haven't skated in a while. Just had a little bit of a heart rebuild, but I'd still go. Yeah.
Okay, and then my last question I always ask the fighters, but I'm going to ask it to you too. Do you remember the first time you were in it? I don't know if you grew up fighting much. I know you played hockey, but do you remember the first time you were in a street fight, the first time you punched somebody out of anger that wasn't a relative?
I probably can. It was about grade 6, I think. It was my best friend who's passed away now. His name was Donald Giddings. And yeah, I do. And it was, I think we both got broken hands, to tell the truth, in grade 6. I remember having a cast on for about 6 months or 6 weeks, I think. Yes.
It's weird. There's something so primal about fighting that it ingrains. And like you said, you remember oh yeah, I fought this kid and he was my friend. It's weird how it's just seared in your brain and it's there forever.
That's a true statement. There is a primal memory about that, sadly enough, but it's true. And like I said, this is entertainment. And another thing is, these guys love what they do. To me, I'm not a fighter like that. but there's something in the guys that's different than you and I. That this is what they love to do. This is a passion for them, and we're giving them a platform to perform their passion.
No, and like you said, I mean, it's not like you're begging these guys. These guys are begging you, and that's what I think is great. Like, it's people that want to be. You're not hiring like some soccer dad. Like it's professional athletes, and they're coming to you. That's what I think is great about this sport.
Yeah, that's true. Like, so many, you would be surprised how many of the guys offer to fight for free. They just want to be here and they just want to show what they can do and stuff like that. It's amazing, but it's what they love to do, and I think it's great that they have a spot to do it that's safe and sanctioned, and you can build a career for these guys too. A lot of the guys in the minor leagues, they don't make a lot of money,
Sure.
and they fight 3 or 4 times a week. This does give them an opportunity to actually make a decent living and become fan favorites. I think recognition is a lot to these guys too, and they deserve it.
I talked to Daniel Amesbury. He's done some of the BKFC tryouts. I thought he was going to be on an upcoming event, and I was kind of disappointed, but I'm happy for him that his team's doing so well that he's in the playoffs, that he can't compete on this card. But he was saying, like, he said, if it wasn't for the fact that we were doing so well and I'm in the playoffs, I would absolutely be on this card. And is that kind of an issue for you too right now? Is it's hard to, with people that are still active on the season, you can't get all the players and the fighters that you want?
Well, no, I talked to Daniel the other night, and I wish them all the success in their quest for the championship. But no, that's not a fact, because there was so many high-level guys available at this time. Actually, we had to turn a lot of guys away for this fight. It would be, of course, nice to have more, but we're definitely overloaded with high-level guys this time. I think as it gets more mainstream, we get higher-level guys applying. And it's like anything. It would be nice to have more guys, but we were very happy with who we have right now. AJ and John did an amazing job putting this together.
How many fights are you guys looking to have on this card?
Between 10 and 12.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Was there any message for the fans? Anything you want to get out there before we call it a day?
I'd just like to say I'll see you guys all at the Soaring Eagle Casino, June 14th, and thank you for the opportunity to talk.
All right, Charlie, I look forward to seeing it. I can't wait, and you know what? This is going to be huge, and I can't wait to watch you continue to succeed and put on another one.
Okay, thank you very much. You have a great day.
Thank you.
Take
Bye.
care.